Hi everybody, welcome back to another theory video that we're going to look at just before we cover the potential question from Extract 5. Supply side reforms, supply side policies specific to Zambia. First of all, let's recap some of the theory that we learned last year, and then we'll go into the specific policies. So what are supply side policies trying to do? Well, they're trying to increase LRS, i.e. increase the productive capacity of the economy, and therefore increase long-run growth in Zambia. That's the idea. How? Well, they aim to increase the quantity and or the quality of factors of production in the economy, and or they aim to increase the productive efficiency of the economy. That's the intention. If they are successful, they will boost LRS and thus boost long-run growth, which is exactly what the Zambian economy needs. The intentions are seen on this diagram as well. So you can see the shift to the right of LRS, and with it, okay, a fall in the price level, fine, but crucially an increase in actual growth from Y1 to Y2, but an increase in long-run growth from YFE1 to YFE2, which is exactly what the 20-mark question is going to target. So it's important that you're able to start your essay with all of this stuff and to use a diagram like this to back up the intentions of the reforms you're going to be mentioning. Okay, let's now focus on what these reforms are and how these reforms could boost LRS. So these are the 5 reforms that the Zambian economy could use to boost LRS. And your job is to fill these little dots, right? The key analysis points as to how these reforms can actually get to the end, can either boost productive efficiency or increase the quantity and quality of factors of production. Your job is to fill that in. I'll go through it for you in this video. Once you've done that, then you can say, well, LRS will increase, and diagrammatically you can make that point clear. Let's take government spending on infrastructure. Give examples. So focus on transport infrastructure like building of roads, expansion of ports, expansion of railway lines, building new airports. Give examples like that. The idea is that it reduces costs of production for businesses because moving goods and services, if that's exporting goods and services, if that's transporting them to a port, if that's accessing imports from a port, it becomes quicker, it becomes easier, it becomes cheaper for businesses. This lowers their costs of production, this increases productive efficiency, but at the same time, with good infrastructure, you attract more FDI. And FDI is investment. It's spending on capital in a developing country by a foreign firm, which increases quantity and quality of capital, the quantity and quality of the capital stock in the economy, you can say, thus boosting LRS. So that's the chain of analysis there. Deregulation, you give examples. That could be easing of planning laws. It could be making it easier to get permits or licenses, or it's abolishing the need for those in the first place. It could be easing hiring and firing laws to make it easier to bring in new staff or to make staff redundant. It could be the easing of environmental laws, the easing of health and safety regulations, of product safety laws. All these examples are open for you. As a result of that, again, the ease of doing business improves. The costs of production for businesses reduce significantly, which increases productive efficiency throughout the economy, which also may promote more FDI. Like I've just said, FDI is a spending on capital, so that's going to increase the quantity and quality of the capital stock. Both will therefore increase LRS. Another reform could be the creation of economic zones. Zambia are currently in the process of doing this. And when economic zones are promoted and created, there are significant tax incentives to build a business, to grow a business in such zones. In Zambia, the 2 key incentives are that in the first 5 years of making any kind of profits for a business, there'll be no corporation tax whatsoever. Second key incentive is that there'll be no import duty, no import tax at all to be paid on capital imports or on manufactured good imports or on raw material imports. Anything that's important for the growth of business, for businesses to actually operate, then import duties will be completely cut for this business. The idea is that it attracts more entrepreneurs to set up business in Zambia, to set up businesses in these economic zones. And setting up business requires investment, i.e. an increase in the quantity and or the quality of the capital stock. So that will increase LRS in Zambia. Furthermore, the Zambian government could improve the access to credit by creating a business bank, i.e. a source of finance for businesses to access credit at lower interest rates than what traditional banks may offer, and maybe loans over longer terms than what traditional banks may offer. So what does that do? That increases the accessibility of credit, makes it easier for businesses to borrow money to fund investment projects, to reach the hurdle, the rate of return required for investment projects to take place. It makes it easier to reach that. Therefore, if more investment takes place as a result, the quantity and quality of the capital stock in the economy will improve, thus boosting LRS. A fifth reform that could take place is to lower corporation tax in Zambia. Corporation tax currently stands at 35% in Zambia. So by lowering that, again, what do? You incentivize more investment because the retained profit, i.e. the profit left after tax for businesses, increases. Businesses may use some of that profit to invest, i.e. spend on capital, spend on new machinery, spend on new software, spend on new technology, on innovation, on new vehicles, whatever it might be. That will increase the quantity and quality of the capital stock in the Zambian economy, thus increasing LRS. Right, so all of these reforms you have available to you. Now, I'd pick maybe the first three because they are specifically mentioned in the extract, either explicitly, like number 3, or 1 and 2, to overcome some of the constraints in the Zambian economy mentioned in the extract. So I'd focus on the top 3, hence I've done them in that order. But make sure you focus on long-run growth when you mention your consequence. Okay? Long-run growth is what these policies are trying to improve. I hope that now makes sense. That's one half of an essay, I guess, in your mind complete. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.